Hey guys, it's JH. Welcome to the practice tee. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here today. Just exquisite. Very rare occurrence on the JH practice tee because we usually get so much wind. It's beautiful today. Okay guys, just okay, this is just for conventional swingers, and I still have a lot of guys that I teach who don't play channel lock, who are conventional golf swingers, and I haven't been doing basically anything on the public forum about conventional swings of late. I do a lot privately, but I haven't been doing anything publicly. So this video is just going to be for the traditional or conventional swingers of a golf club. And guys, it's just something that I think is absent in most club players. And that is sequencing the downswing correctly. Now, the basic mechanism for initiating a transitional move in a golf swing is to just get something in the lower part of the body to start that transition. Now it depends how flexible you are in your golf swing. Say for example you were like Sam Snead or Jack Nicklaus, and they talked about Snead's incredible flexibility, but he wasn't flexible in some areas because in his golf swing he lifted his heel up like that. Now if he was flexible in his hip extensors, he would be able to keep his lead leg down. Same with Nicklaus, same with Tom Watson. They were all lead leg lifters. Bobby Jones was like that. I mean, Bobby had his foot like that. But what all those guys did, and they were all fantastic ball strikers, what they all did, which I think made them fantastic ball strikers, was they were able to, by lifting that lead heel, bang it down on the ground to initiate the downswing. It was the lower body component that got all the upper body componentry into action in the downswing. And guys, really, believe it or not, as long as something here, low down, starts the downswing, you can release that golf club as hard as you like. Jack Nicklaus said he felt like he did that. So did Tom Watson. So did Harry Varden. He said they felt like they did. They didn't do that. They were here. Not so much Watson. Watson was very much actually looked like he threw the club away. But Jack didn't, and Bobby Jones didn't. But they said that they felt that the club went there. That's because they wanted to get the club head releasing early. The bane of existence, I think, for most club players is they just don't get the club releasing early enough. And most of the time the reason that they push the ball right, you will come across it with an open club face, is because the club face is not releasing. They're basically in this position here rather than in that position. It doesn't matter if you can have a little bit of chicken wing, and it's much more preferable to flip the club than to hold the club, because a flip, you watch Freddie Couples post impact and VJ Singh, they're like this guy. That means that they're trying to get that club releasing, and yet you look at Freddie and VJ on the downswing, they're here. Freddie's so late, but he doesn't feel like that. He feels like from the top of the swing he's throwing the club, because he knows he can get the impetus into the golf club and get it going really quick in the downswing, and the quicker you think about releasing it, the faster it'll go in the downswing, contrary to popular belief. But because Freddie and everybody, see Freddie, now we'll talk about flexibility. Those guys that we just spoke about, they had flexibility, no flexibility, well, not much, and they could lift. They had to lift their left heel to get that big hip turn and body turn in the backswing. But Freddie didn't. On cue, as soon as I turn on the camera, the aircraft. But Freddie was incredibly, and Ernie Els, incredibly flexible in the midriff, and so they basically can take the club back here, foot's on the ground, And if you watch Freddie, Freddie's here, and then he just does that. Now, if you're flexible, you can keep your foot down. But if you keep it down, guys, then it's not going to be the heel that starts the downswing. It's got to be something else. And for the guys that don't lift the heel, Faldo, Freddie and those guys, they think, well, I know Faldo does because I've spoken to him, and he said that for him, what starts his downswing is that lead knee going in a semicircle. Nick gets to the top here, and he just does that. Now, if I do nothing else, guys, watch. If I get to the top of the backswing here, and I'm not going to do anything with my hands, I'm just going to turn my lead knee. Look what happens with the club. Club drops and underplanes. I'm not doing anything with it. That's just a throwback or a drop back or a fallback effect of the lead knee starting the downswing. Now, the guys that are flexible and keep their foot down, you can use your lead knee. You can use even your ankle. You can actually feel like your ankle turns a little bit. So the weight is going to go heel and outside of your lead foot. You can start from the ankle, the lead knee. You can even start from the upper thigh, or you can start from the buttock, or you can start with the lead hip. You know, so many players have different parts of the anatomy that start the downswing that keep the foot on the ground. But everybody that's lifted that left heel, and even Ben Hogan lifted his left heel a little bit, and Ben Hogan was incredibly flexible in his midriff. Unbelievable in his midriff. Unbelievable flexibility. His neck, amazing flexibility, and that's why we saw the type of golf swing that he had. It was very loady and very very turning against the club, still going back, because he was flexible in the midriff, but he still lifted his lead heel a little bit and banged it down. Yeah, Hogan was here a little bit, and it was just that. Now, there has to be something in this lead side that initiates a downswing. That's the basic message of this video, guys. There has to be something in the lead knee, in the lead side, that initiates a downswing. Doesn't matter what it is. Ernie Els, believe it or not, you know what Ernie Els uses to start his downswing? He pulls his lead shoulder away from his chin, like that. But in doing that, if you watch Ernie very closely and in slow motion, I've slowed him down. Whereas he feels there's a perception that this is actually starting the downswing. In actual fact, a lower portion of the body is precursoring that move. Anatomically, it just does that. So Ernie has a perception that he's doing that, but he's actually doing this. Something down here is getting this going. So the whole point of this, guys, is you have to cultivate something in your golf swing, in a conventional golf swing, where something in the lower body precedes the upper body in the downswing. And I'm not an advocate of holding anything back in the downswing. I think one of the things that's killed a lot of club players over the years, no question in my mind, over the years, some of the things that have put the wrong, image into someone's head and the wrong swing thought, is the pictures of a downswing here. And people think they've got to do that in the downswing. All that, guys, is a resultant of this. You don't do that. You don't go for a position in a downswing. You don't try and put the club anywhere. Once the downswing starts, it's a free-flowing, total, complete motion and process. It's just hierarchical. Whatever component starts the downswing, the rest just follows. But you don't want to think, I'm going to come down, I'm going to hold the release off and I'm going to get in here. You don't do that, guys. I don't know anyone that does that. There was only one good player, and a really good player, won a few Australian Opens and played in the Masters and the US Open and a lot of things, and I think he won 3 or 4 Australian Opens back in the 60s, an Australian guy named Frank Phillips. And Frank is still alive today, and Frank was a wonderful ball striker, the best long iron player. Nicholas even said Frank was the best long iron player he'd ever seen. And Nicholas never hit it past Frank once when they played together. Frank told me that. So Jack was big in his day, so, but he never got it past me once. So, but what Frank used to say was, he was the only guy I've ever heard, great ball strike. I said, what do you think about on the downswing, Frank? He said, I just want to hold this angle here as long as I can. Pull my hands and pull all this angle as long as I can. And that was when I first met Frank, and I said, wow. I said, you really do that? He said, yep, that's what I think about. Well, he thought about that, and he was a wonderful ball striker. Magnificent driver of the ball, fairway wood player. You know, every part of his irons and woods, everything, just sensational ball. Probably there's been no better Australian ball striker than Frank Phillips. Even Greg Norman. I don't think Greg Norman was a better ball striker than Frank Phillips. Frank was, even when I saw Frank in latter days when he was, you know, over 70 years old, I mean, the noise he made when he hit the ball was just extraordinary. And it was almost as if he had the club on the ball forever. But Frank played by perception. Frank actually didn't. He may have felt that, but like every other great player, if you saw Frank swing here, it was that started it. Now, he may have had, in conjunction, that swing thought that he held that, but he's the only great ball striker I've ever heard that says they really try and hold that angle till the last minute. Jack says, wow, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. That's what Jack said. And Jack told me that. I said, so the day, he said, yep. He said, I feel like I do that. He said, I don't do that. He said, but I feel like I do. He said, I don't want to feel like I look. So if I felt like I look, I'm in here, I don't want to be like that. He said, I want to get the club going there. So, yeah, so guys, the whole point here is that no matter what level of flexibility you have, I don't lift my, I'm 76 now, 77 this year, and I don't have a lot of upper body flexibility, and I don't have an awful lot in my groins either, believe it or not, but I don't lift my left heel. I've never lifted my left heel. So for me, in the backswing, when I take it here, I've got to do that. I've got to get that knee doing that. Now, the best way to do that is to get that lead knee preset on the backswing, so that you're basically winding the spring in that lead knee. You're winding the radial action of that and setting it up to want to unload in the downswing. And this is what I mean. Conventional golf swing. As you set up here, guys, just kick that knee in there, and then just get the pressure, and then as you get to here, you'll feel tremendous loading and spring type effect there, and then just that spring wants to unload. But once it wants to unload, keep it going. Don't just flick the spring and then stop it. Once it wants to get going, keep it going. Now you can do it in channel lock. Even back here, guys, if you load here, you can still do that. I mean, I'm staying here on my trail side with channel lock, here, there, but there's an initiation from this lead side. I don't think about it, but it has some initiation, and clearly at the end of the swing, it's here and it's moving, and it's taking the force and the load of the golf swing with it. So we load up that lead knee. Okay, conventional swing. This feels funny, guys, I have to channel lock. Oh, well. Now I feel like I'm loaded left, and I'm not, but I feel like I'm loaded left. So we're just going to take it back here, preload that knee. Wow. Now that's first swing of the day, just a little 3/4 golf swing, but that felt like an elastic strap on that knee there that was pulled across here because I preloaded it, and then it just went like that. Now you can do a lot of things in your golf swing that will be harmful to your golf swing, but I promise you can do that with any type of golf swing, and it can only be beneficial. It can't be anything but beneficial. You know why? Because it's the correct hierarchical anatomical movement process in a golf swing to get some part of the lower body going. Now with me, because I don't lift my heel, get that knee in there, and then that just wants to do that. And just do it, guys. Get here, put it in here, put some pressure there, put more pressure on the backswing, get the club to here, and then just move that lead knee. Look what happened. I'm not doing anything with my hands, guys. Just move that lead knee. Club back planes, down loads. And like that's the first swing of the day, and that's just dead flush centre. So guys, just even in conventional golf swing, for anybody in a conventional golf swing, but in channel lock, sure, you can do it. Okay, you won't have the initiation amount in channel lock that you do in a conventional golf swing, because channel lock, we're back here, we're loaded here, and we want to fire the weight down there. But the interesting thing is, when I get back to here, guys, even though I'm firing it down there, this is still doing that. It's still doing that, and the more I can do that, even with channel lock, the better the strike is and the better the timing. So I incorporate that feeling in my golf swing of that lead knee just making a little radial arc for a right-hander to the left. The lead knee just radially arcs across like that to the left. So guys, that's just something in for anybody, but mainly for conventional swingers that want to sequence their downswing. Because if this stalls, guys, once you're at the top of the swing here, if this goes dormant and there's nothing pulling on the hands, there's nothing here to get the hands going. The only thing nothing to get the club going. The only thing that'll get the club going is your hands. And invariably when your hands go early like that, with no lead side precursor in the movement, invariably the hands will go that way. And you'll get a lot of throwaway, but you get a lot of outside throwaway.